Hello everybody, good day to you. Welcome back. We returned to the part 2 repair video of our 2012 Dodge Ram 1500 5.7 Hemi V8. It has approximately, where's the key? Let's see what our mileage is here. It has approximately, come on Dodge, wake up. 167,465 miles on the odometer. Customer had stated that when going off-road in four-wheel drive, they felt a vibration in the drivetrain. We previously inspected it. I ended up pulling out the front drive shaft, and we found that that front universal joint had a binding condition. You see, since this thing has been lifted, there is less of a driveline angle, and that U-joint is actually running straight with the drive shaft, so it never had any chance to move around. Because of that, it kind of rusted or the needle bearings dried up, and it sort of binds in its position. It will move, but it doesn't move very much, and because of that resistance in there, it's causing a vibration in that drive shaft while in four-wheel drive. Now, the problem with that universal joint is that we are unable to service just the U-joint. Move this thing on up, I'll show you what we're talking about. There we go. All right. So this U-joint in this drive shaft is actually not serviceable. We can see right here how those U-joint cups are staked in. Yes, it can be removed in some capacity, but that's going to require boatloads of effort. So much so that the amount of time and labor that it would take to actually get those U-joints out would exceed the cost of replacing the entire drive shaft. So over there in a box on the floor, we have a replacement drive shaft. So we're going to pop this shaft out, pop that new shaft in, and that will complete that section of the repair. However, there's more. Over here on the right front CV axle, I found a bunch of that rust right there at the spline section where this CV joint meets the intermediate shaft, which goes into the differential. Now the issue here is there's a whole bunch of motion in those splines between this shaft and this shaft right here. And that is also a very likely cause of potential vibration. So what we're gonna do is attempt to get this thing out. The issue is there is a snap ring on those splines, and that snap ring can become full of rust, and due to that rust in the snap ring, I may not be able to get this section of the shaft out from that intermediate shaft. We're gonna go ahead and soak this down with some penetrating oil, and then I'm going to attempt to get that thing off of there. If I can't get it off, we'll have to take the front differential apart and actually remove that intermediate shaft from the differential and then replace both units. I think I can get it apart, but there's a possibility that I can't, so we're gonna have to cross that bridge when we get there. All right, cruising back in. So to start off with, let's get some penetrating oil into that shaft right here as best we can. Look at that, there's rust running out with the lubricant. See that right there? It's on the little foamy stuff. Let's rotate that around a little bit more here, and we'll give it one more quick spray. Let that soak in nice and deep like. There we go. It's a foaming penetrating oil, so you know it's good. Oh yeah, there's boatloads of corrosion and rust in there. Alrighty, we're gonna leave that alone and let it soak in. We're gonna move back around over here to the driver's side and get to work on that front drive shaft. So stay tuned, because this is gonna be a very good video. Happening the hood. All right, let's crack open our case here and see what we've got inside of our box. We've got a spline-driven front drive shaft. How do I get this thing out of the wrapper here? Come here. Someone's already gotten it out of the wrapper. Look at that. Maybe they sent it back. So now looky here at this drive shaft. This U-joint is serviceable. See how it's got that Sur ring in it, that clip to hold the U-joint cups in? There. I don't see a Zerk fitting for grease, but they don't all have it. That's the difference between this shaft and the Mopar OE shaft. This one will be serviceable in the future. That one back there is not. It's got a constant velocity joint up here at this at the other side, and you can also see it's been balanced. See that right there? See the little weight that they tacked on? So this thing, oh, it's been balanced over there too. Whoa. All right. So let's go ahead and get this thing removed from the vehicle and we'll get that new one swapped in. Look everybody, my darling wife unit has graced us with her presence. Hi darling.
I know, it's been a few weeks.
Welcome back. Yeah, it's been a couple weeks. She's been out of the office tending to our middle child. He had to have his tonsils taken out, poor little guy. But now he's back in action. I'm sure he's running around here somewhere. I think I saw him go in the office. But she's back, the kids are back, everybody's back. I'm so glad to see you. Hi.
Hi, back to work.
Yay.
Yay.
Okie dokes, first things first, let's get both of these front wheels off so we've got a bit of space to maneuver with. And then we'll go from there. All right, rear heavy wheel. These things are stupid heavy. They're 35, 12, 50, 22s. Q-rated. Oh, and they're not lightweight. Uh-oh, centering ring fell out. These things are super critical to aftermarket wheels. These are what makes that wheel hub-centric. See, there's two kinds of wheels. There's lug-centric and there's hub-centric. Hub-centric wheels, the actual rim, the wheel, will be centered on the hub face. Lug-centric wheels like Mercedes, Volkswagen, BMW, Audi, Volvo, they don't have a stud, they've got just a big lug bolt that goes in. And those wheels are going to be lug-centric. So when you put an aftermarket wheel on your car, if you have a hub-centric application, you need these little adapters. That way, the wheel will fit to the hub exactly as it's designed. If you don't do that, they will vibrate. I mean, they're probably going to vibrate anyway, because look at them. But you got to have this little guy on there to prevent excessive vibrations. Fun fact of the day. All right, while we're here, let's get some lubrication on these big nuts. That way they don't bind up while I try to remove them. We'll get the other side too, since I got the can of lube handy. Get all nice and deep like. There we go. All right, so this front shaft, this drive shaft should be a very easy operation if I can get the right size sockets. Let's try an 18. Yep, there we go. This should be a very easy operation. You take this thing out, put the other one in, that's gonna be no problem. The hard part, I think, is gonna be those front CV axles. Come here. Nice and easy. Now you'll notice the presence of this aluminum spacer right here. That is there because, again, this thing has like a 6-inch lift on it, and that caused this front differential to be lowered down slightly. Looks like it's about 2 or 3 inches based on that bracket right there. Because of that, it changed the space between, or it changed the relationship rather, between this differential and the transfer case, and it probably shortened the drive shaft overall length, hence the spacer. I don't think that spacer came factory with this. It may have, and my hypothesis is incorrect, but I'm pretty sure that this is part of the lift kit as well. Dodge Ram guys, you serviced these at the dealership, or you did. Do you know if that's factory or if that's or if that's aftermarket? Let me know in the comments down below. While you're doing that, I'll show everybody else this U-joint right here. See that right there? How it's smooth throughout its throw, but then when it's in its resting position, there's like a bump. It's binding ever so slightly. Now, when this drive shaft is turning a couple hundred RPMs as you're driving, that binding can turn into a vibration, and it did, and it will. And that is the reason that this thing has a low speed vibe in 4-wheel drive. Okay, looking off to the right a little bit, we're gonna focus on the transfer case side. All I really need to do here is pry away this dust boot from the transfer case. I'm gonna try to do this without breaking the straps. I just pry this guy away and it should spline off. I have to take care to not damage that dust boot because I don't have a replacement. So I'm gonna need to reuse that. So we're gonna get behind it and just push that clamp off. And then the dust boot will come with the drive shaft. We can just pull the thing out. Let me get in here and get a hold of it. Here it comes. Drive shaft remove. Come on out. There we go. It is free of the splines. Good. All right, let's get out of here, spin around over to the roll carts, and we can compare these two shafts and make sure that the replacement is going to be suitable. Okay, old shaft, new shaft coming in. Let's look left a little bit and compare these universals to make sure we're on point with that diagnosis. See how that's nice and smooth? Nice and smooth. This one is not nice and smooth. It's actually loose and then it binds. It's loose and then it binds. There we go. Okay, moving on over to the left a little bit. We need to recover this dust boot and get that installed on the new unit. Now, like I mentioned, I do not have a replacement clamp. So I need to be able to take these apart and reuse them. Watch that. I'll show you how we're gonna do this here. It'll be like we were never here if I can get this apart. There we go, unclip. Right here is how it clamps. So what I need to do is just open that up some. Different pliers. We're gonna open that clamp up just a wee bit. And then when I go to reinstall it, I can re-clamp the clamp. Now let's try this tool. This is actually the tool for clamping these clamps. And I'm gonna see if it works for unclamping these clamps as well. A little bit of bending action. It's opened up some. So now when I go to put this back on, I'll just have to get behind it with this tool, clamp that thing back down, squeeze it in, and it'll cinch this thing tight. I'll do the same on both of these, unless I can get this one to slide over. Oh yeah. Perfect, okay. So now all I gotta do is just squeeze that down a little harder and it'll cinch down on that shaft and then we're good to go. So I've only gotta redo one clamp. Beautiful. Okay, so real quick before we get this thing reinstalled, I want to get a little bit of grease on these splines right here. That way they don't rust like those front CV axles did. So what'll happen is that can rust and then these metal pieces can't move freely between each other and they'll wear each other out and you'll get excessive play, and you don't want excessive play on your splines. All right, shaft, back to your home. Let's get this thing reinstalled and back on the transfer case. Drive shaft coming in. Get that thing splined in. We'll worry about the clamp after we bolt the front yoke in. Get to that thing last. There it goes, slid right in, beautiful. Looking left, we're gonna go ahead and get our spacer back in position here. And then we can bolt in the shaft. Get that lined up. Let's spin her around. As always, I'm going to put in all the fasteners before I start to tighten them. See how that's got some play in it? There's a chance if I tighten one of them down, it won't be aligned at the other 3 holes, and then you'll end up cross-threading your bolt and ruining things, and that's just not the goal here. That would be bad. There we go. Let's get some impact clicks going on this, and we're going to be all set. So powerful. I need to buy another rigid gun, the non-fuel version, because this fuel gun is a powerhouse beast.
I meant octane, not fuel. Fuel is the Milwaukee version.
See for yourself. I put a link to it in the description to Amazon down below. There you go. Commissioned and full disclosure, if you buy one through my link, I get a cut, and that's pretty cool. Okay, we've migrated around to underneath the vehicle. We're now behind the transfer case. This is the spline drive right here, and there's our boot. So what I need to do is slide that boot back against the transfer case, and we can start to reclamp the thing down. Okay, now we can get this thing clamped down. Yeah, that's the easy one. Squeeze that some and we're good, that one's in. And now for the one that I had to kind of redo. All right, let's get this this clamp in position, get it cinched down and see if this is gonna work. And I think it is. Come on. Oh yeah, yep, it snapped in. The little hooks have caught. We're in business here now. Let's get some clamp action on that. We're in good shape. Cinch down on that. I'm taking care to not pinch the rubber. I don't want to cut a hole in it. There we go, good to go. Dust boot installed, we're all set down here. All right, let's get out of here because it's a billion degrees and move on to those front CV axles. All right, so earlier you heard me mention that this rigid octane impact was a little too powerful, and it was for what I was using it for back there. However, for things like this with 36mm sockets, it's not too powerful. It's gonna be great. Look at that, walked it right off, no problem. Let's see if the shaft is free. Yes, it is. This is good. Okay, so now what we need to do in order to get this axle out is I've got to make some space for it to come out, and I've got to make some space to get this part of the shaft out of the hub assembly inside. So what I want to do is we're going to remove this upper ball joint and maybe this tie rod over here, and that's going to allow me to swing the steering knuckle away from the axle, and I should be able to fish the thing out through this side right here. Okay, let's see if the 3/8 90-degree impact will pull this nut off. Half inch. No, this was the half inch. I'm sorry. Yes, it will. Good. Very good. Let's put that on there for some protection. I'm going to give this a couple taps with a hammer, and that might jar the ball joint loose. If not, we'll have to use a puller to pop that thing out. Now, when I said hammer, I meant pneumatic hammer. We're going to do the air-powered unit. Loud noises. Look at that. That was beautiful. That's what I wanted to see. Good. Now the knuckle's free-ish. Let's put that on so it doesn't get lost. Ball joint feels good. Let's unhook that ABS wire a little bit so it's got more space. All right, looking down below a little bit, let's see if I've got the space to get this axle out, and I don't think so. Let's go ahead and take that tie rod off next. We're gonna need to loosen this right front outer. Same protocol as we used on the ball joint up there. Come out. Oops. Nut down, no worries. It didn't go far. Let's give this some linear impacts. No. Seriously? There. See, I insulted its integrity and it capitulated. There we go. Now this axle should come out. No problem. Let's give it a push. I think I've got enough space here. Easy. The brake line's getting a little stretched. Hold on, I need to disconnect that bracket. Give me some more space. The last thing I want to do here is damage a brake line trying to save an axle. We're not going to do that. That's just a bad idea. That will flex this steel line a little bit, but I don't think it's going to cause a problem. Yeah, there's plenty of motion there. There we go. All right, let's back it up and push this axle out. Let's see here. Come on now. Don't make me take the ball joint and the brakes off. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. Now you're going to come out. It is my will. Almost. Come on. There we go. Came out some. We're getting somewhere. Pry bar. Pry bar for everything. Maybe if I can find something to pry off of here. This ought to be fun to put back together. Oh, hitting you guys in the face with pry bars. That's nothing new. You should be used to it by now. I would be. Oh, come out of there. I almost had it. Come on. Here it comes. Yeah. It has achieved some freedom. Now for the hard part. I need to figure out how to get that thing separated from the splines. And I think the air hammer is going to do it for us. But since this thing has this huge old lift kit on it, we need to, well, it has this big skid shield thing. I want to get behind it right here with with the impact and try to drive that thing off of its intermediate shaft. So we're going to need to remove this skid plate. Looks like it's a Torx or an Allen 45 or a 40 maybe. Let's go see what we've got here. The master kit has what we need, and I choose this one, 7/32. Let's see if that's the correct. Yes, it is. Went right in. Perfect. All right, let's see what we can do about getting this skid panel thing removed. Come unkicked. Not a chance. We need a manual ratchet. I'll be sad to learn that these are Loctited in. Oh man, that's in there. Wow. It was so violent when it untwisted that the reverberations turned the ratchet to the tightening. See, now it wants to tighten. So it actually changed the position of the ratchet. These guys are in there. Unclick. Those are some serious clicks too. Let's get this next one over here. Wild. Ah. 2 more, I think. There we go. Una más. Okay. Now the impact can pull it out. Time to pick up some speed. Oh man, there's nuts on the back of this. No way. Come on, lift kit guys. Look at that, they put a nut back there. That makes this even harder. Whatever. I figured that would be threaded or something like that. I was wrong. Got it. Next. Need a wrench. I can't finger all the nuts. That didn't come out right. Sounded a little, well, that was off. We'll just leave it at that. Come here. Come out. Did these come out? There. All right, that's one side done. Juking left. Let's get this other side removed. Wrench. Driver. Unclick. 2 more to go. Now the real task here is going to be getting this out without dropping it. It's going to start to lower. Let's see. I need to get my wrench on the nut, which that's almost impossible. Remove control arm. There. Whoa, it's heavier than I thought. There's your gas mileage right there, guy. 20-pound steel plate to protect another steel plate. All right. Okay, so the reason for all that rigmarole was space right here. I need to get after this CV axle at this angle with the hammer to try to drive it off of that intermediate shaft. That's kind of the hang up here. So this is the moment of truth. This is going to determine whether this is a 1.3 hour job or a 6.5 hour job. Plus, begin unclicking. Not thrilled. Oh, did it move? Nope. No, it's not wanting to come out. That's not okay. So the issue is inside of that little collar, there's a C-clip, and that C-clip is rusted and it won't let go. We need to break that rust free. So I'm gonna try to get this with a side load. See if we can't knock that ring loose. We'll rotate it some, hit it again. Rotate it again, hit it again. Compressor engaged. This bit is getting hot because it's so hot. Yeah, all right. Let's get some more lubricant down inside of those splines. We're gonna need it. Look at all that rust coming out. Gross. Flush it. It's so bad. All right, I'm gonna hit it again and then we'll try to knock it off. Out. Off and out. Oh, one more good one. There we go. Let's see if it's gonna come out now. Please come out. Can't get it stable. Man. Should have been an astronaut. All right, well, now I'm at an impasse. Forcing this out is not gonna work, and I really do not want to disassemble this differential in order to pull this intermediate shaft out to only still have that thing stuck together. So I'm going to have to escalate this to a level of violence. If that doesn't work, we'll escalate to the next level, but I'm going to chop this into pieces because it can't be stuck if it's in multiple pieces. So I'm gonna start to cut this thing up. I'm gonna try to cut it like right here, all the way around the circumference, and then perhaps I'll be able to cut like a line this way to break this apart some. And once it's broken apart, I may be able to hammer that thing off. But as it sits right now, I'm beyond my capability to get that apart without a little bit of invasive repair attempts. So we're gonna chop this thing to pieces and then see how that goes. It's gonna take a while, so we're gonna do that in super high speed, lightning fast motion. So sit back, enjoy the music, and let's see how this works out. All right, here goes nothing. I'm gonna cut it right at the area where the snap ring should be. We'll see how it works out. Maybe the other way. Okay, no turning back now. I've done irreparable damage. Now I'm gonna try to break away the area that I've cut to give some exposure to those splines into that snap ring. Let's see if that's gonna work here. I don't know. I don't think I cut deep enough yet. No, not yet. All right guys, so I've got an angle cut in there. There's a ring cut all the way around, and then I've got an angle that's almost all the way through. I have not made it to the intermediate shaft yet. I'm gonna go in there next with the air hammer, and we're gonna try to start to break up what I've cut away so far, and we're gonna chip away pieces as they come loose. I'll have to go back to the grinder, I'm sure, a couple times, but if I can just peel this away, we'll be able to get the axle out. Let's see if this is gonna work. Oh, it moved. This might be working. Yep, see that? That piece is moving now. Let's make it all the way broken. Yep, there's a big old crack in it coming through. Perfect. Crack went all the way through over to the other side. I can see the splines. I see them. It's exposed. There it is. There's our splines. Almost. Let's see if I can drive this axle off now. Go, baby, go. No, not yet. Not yet. It moved, but then it hung right back up again. Close, but no cigar. All right, more grinding.
20 minutes later.
All right, well, let's see here. Since that air hammer wasn't doing it, let's just try it with the big mallet. See if I can't get it going from here. I'm getting pretty tired. I'm getting some noodle arm just from running that tool. Oh yeah! Sweet! It came out. Got it. All right. See if I can't get this little piece out of here. No. I'll have to cut that one off probably. Let's try. See if I can't just break it. Come on, you. Get out of there. There we go. Got it. See that? There's the ring. The little snap ring right there. That guy is what causes this. You get some rust in there, then that snap ring doesn't let go, and you can't get it to come out of that little groove. See the groove inside of the axle right there? Oh, it's hot. That thing rests inside of that groove and you can't get them to come apart, which I just did. So if anybody's got this problem, now you know how to remedy it. Cut off wheels for the win. All right. Oh man, I'm so relieved this thing came out of here. So let's get this axle out. I had to pull my gloves off. They were dripping sweat and saturation. Okie dokes, now that the easy part's out of the way, let's get this thing cleaned up, and I need to inspect it very closely to make sure it's gonna be reusable or not. Beginning cleaning procedure now. With some not sponsored O'Reilly's Brake Clean. Maximum cleaning power. It does the work so I don't have to. Ooh, there's a lot of rust in there. Goodbye, crustiness. Oh, air. Okay, so that's not good enough. I need to up the game with the brake clean pressure washer. That little ring was harboring some rust. Much more better. All right, so let's see here. Upon closer inspection, I think this is in good shape. We never hit it with the grinder, and these splines don't look horrible. I can see all the edges on them. I can see the little crosshatch machine marks on it, so there's not excessive wear on the splines, which tells me that these splines are a harder metal than what's on the axle. So I won't have to change this shaft. Let's go ahead and unbox that axle and get that guy installed, and we can get this this side of the truck finished up. Okay, so in order to prevent this from reoccurring, we're gonna throw some grease on those splines. That way there's plenty of lubrication and rust preventative on this shaft. Right here. Get that in there nice and deep like. I probably went a little overboard with it. There we go. Yeah, that's a little too much, but I can wipe it off later. It's all packed into the splines. It's packed into that snap ring. That'll be good. Gloves are also good. Check this out. Booyah. No grease on me. Okay, we've got our new shaft here. Let's just compare it a little bit to make sure it's gonna fit properly. Dimensions appear to be the same. Splined, same length. Let's see. Same on the inboard side. A little bit different design here, which that's to be expected because these are rated as a heavy duty, suitable for lifted applications. And the OEM ones are not suitable for lifted applications as per the parts catalog. So here, what I need to do, get that guy in, slipped into position here. Splines are lining up. Come on now, get in there. Good. Now, am I gonna have to cut this to pieces to get it to go back together or what? Come on now. Get in there. I'm gonna ram it some. I'm gonna dodge ram it. Okay, it does not want to go over the clip. So we're gonna re-strategize this. We're gonna put it together from the outside in, and I'll show you why in just a second. Bear with me. If the thing you're doing doesn't succeed, try something else. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and put this in on the outboard side first to get that thing all splined up with the wheel bearing. And get it on the inboard spline some, so it's all aligned. So now the outboard splines are in and the inboard splines are in. What I can do is push this thing back up, and we will get the upper control arm and ball joint set up to keep the steering knuckle into place. Then I can drive the axle inwards using the splines, or using that little dimple right there on the outboard splines. That's gonna be the plan. That may not make perfect sense at this exact moment, but you'll see. When it works, you'll know where I'm coming from here. Let me get this ball joint in. Oh, bolts on, there we go, that's secure. Okay, good. So now what I can do is I can take the impact driver and a punch, push it in right here, and it's gonna push the axle back, and I'll be able to apply some force onto those splines on this inboard side as soon as the axle bottoms out. That's the thing. We're gonna go in. Axle click. That's in, that's locked in, right where we want it to be. That was perfect, I like it. Now, here's the real litmus test here. Let's give this the shake and see what kind of play we get out of it. There's a little bit, but not much, not like the other one was. So that is a confirmed kill on worn out splines inside of the old CV axle. Okay, let's get our last few nuts tightened up here. Ball joint click. Okay, we got one more for our tie rod here. Let's get that guy back together. That will leave us with the brake hose bracket and the ABS wire / wheel speed sensor bracket. Pickages. And of course the center axle nut, can't forget that. And I think this side will be good to go. Here, let's get this bracket back into its home here. 2 bolts, not 1 bolt. That's weird, yeah? Clickage. That one's good. Put that back in its clip, and this side is completed. Torque you later. All right, guys, that will about complete this side of the operation. I still have one more to go. That's probably going to take at least another hour and a half or so, probably some more. So that being said, since we've already seen what it looks like on one side, I'm going to go ahead and close this video out right about now. If you would like to see the other side, have no fear, just go down to the link in this video's description and I will make another video of this other side, but I'm not going to list it. So it's going to end up being a super secret, unlisted, private only video for if you stayed to the end and if you click the link. So that being said, as always, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. Certainly hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you over on the next one. For those of you who are not going to go over to video number 2, which is super secret and unlisted, as always, I'd like to thank you again one more time for watching this video. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section below. Don't forget to tap that like button while you're down there, and most importantly, do not forget to have yourselves a great day. See you guys later into video number 1, into Dodge Ram 1500 Hemi 5.7 V8 with 4-wheel drive, end of day, and end of transmission. All right, so I've got a, whoa, camera gravity. Sorry guys. Okay, so I have a, stop it, camera. Hi, ruined scene.